Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. We're going to look at sexual activity and Sikhi. This is like a taboo subject. A lot of people don't discuss this. Even though I personally feel as this is the topic, or lust is one way that a lot of people are losing Sikhi, and a lot of people are like, not close to the Guru or got a good bond with the Guru because of lust. You get me? But a lot of issues regarding lust, but we don't seem to ever discuss it because it's hard in like doing talks openly in youth forums or camps and stuff when you got both genders there. It is not an easy topic to do. It's really hard, you get me? So that's why it probably ain't discussed as much. But there's a lot to it and there's a lot of confusion in it, and I'm just going to try my best to clear out things, as I think using common sense and using a bit of Gurbani quotes to back up, to back up what I say, yeah? So Mara says, sexual desire and anger are diffused throughout the whole universe, coming and going, people suffering pain. So lust keeps us away from Maharaj, anger keeps us away from Maharaj. We're still being reincarnation. So look at it, yeah? We might not wake up at Amritwala and do part, but everybody's been on the phone to the opposite sex till late night, sometimes even all night. Well, most people have, I said everybody, but most people have, do you know what I mean? And how much time do we spend on chasing the opposite sex, or how much times in our life do we spend on trying to achieve the Bollywood scenario? Do you know what I mean? And like, if we spent all that time trying to chase Maharaj, trying to chase the Guru, trying to chase God, we'd be on levels right now. You get me? That's how powerful lust is. Maharaj in his Bani even shows you how powerful lust is anyway. So the whole world's suffering, coming and going because of lust. Get me? The only way you can beat lust is, like we said before, Nam Gurbani Simran Dasa to Maharaj, yeah? Gurbani says, the lustful, lecherous man desires many women, and he never stops peeking into the homes of others. Day after day he commits adultery again and again, and then he regrets his actions. He wastes away in misery and greed. So men and women that cheat, they're never satisfied. They lust for more and more. They're never happy. And all it is a few seconds pleasure, and then they regret after. Do you know what I mean? Because it's just like temporary sensual pleasures. You know what I mean? And like, there's a lot of scenario where a man really loves his wife and she's been there for him, done everything for him, cheats on her for a bit of sensual pleasure, or because of temptation. She finds out, she divorces him because she can't trust him, and he regrets. And it happens a lot, and vice versa for the women. Maharaj tells us, others' wealth, others' wives, and the slander of others, renounce your carving for these. So Maharaj is telling us, once you're married, stay in that house. Do you know what I mean? Even when you're not married, yeah, redeem away from lust. You get me? So chastity, truth, and self-control are in the sanctuary of the Lord. So when you come to the Sad Sangat and you live a truthful Jivan, Jap Nam Do Seva, only then will you have self-control and self-respect and dignity and morals and izzat and honor. Until you're not doing that, you will fall into desires and temptations and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Because it's really hard to defeat lust. You can't defeat lust without the Guru anyway, without Bani and stuff and Bhakti, yeah? So when I was mature enough, this is Guru Gobind Singh Ji talking, when I was mature enough, Satguru Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji gave me this teaching. Until the day you take your last breath, you must take this and never forget it. You must always keep respect for your wife. You must never go into another woman's bed, even in your dreams. Waheguru, how deep is that? How many about Mara Kyal do we have, you know what I mean? Even about other people's wives and stuff like that. Get me? But that's Sikhi there, man. Not even in a dream should you even think about affairs or another man's wife, see her in that way. So Bhai Gurdas Ji says, be faithful to your one wife. Hence the name One Wife, yeah? We're going to come to that topic in a bit as well. See others as your daughters, sisters and mothers, and vice versa for the women. That's how deep, that's, you know what I mean? Once you're married, everyone else, you don't got no reason to look at someone in a dirty way, because you're already married. You should be content. Do you know what I mean? So Maharaj is saying, without having an undercarriage, those who have sexual relations, listen, O Sikh. The Guru states, he, she is not my Sikh. Those who fall for a woman and a man other than their own spouse will not receive the blessing of Sri Guru Gobind Singh Ji. So what's Maharaj saying? Until you're not married, you shouldn't be sleeping around. Because if you're not committed, and made a promise in front of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, made a promise in the house of God in front of Sangat to the person, if you ain't committed to him and she ain't committed to you, you've got no right to do other things with each other, because that's not self-respect or honour or dignity or morals. That shows bad character. You get me? Because you're giving yourself up to the man and he's not even committed to you. He's not even made a promise to God that he's going to look after you. He's not even stated in front of society that he's going to be there for you till your dying day. That's what marriage is about. Marriage is about morals and respect. Alright, so once you're Amritari, alright, and you have affair or any sexual activity out of marriage, that becomes a bajra, it's a cardinal sin. So the promise you make to your Guru is broken, and you lose Guruji's blessings. Get me? So you have to redeem yourself and you have to take Amrit again and ask forgiveness from the Panch Pyare to get Guru's blessings again. Get me? So we had said that, Sikhs, be faithful to your one wife. If you look at in an Islamic religion, they're allowed to have more than one wife. But Sikhi goes by the laws of nature. Laws of nature, man and woman, reproduction. And if you look at, Maharaj just gave the man one reproduction organ and the woman one reproduction organ. He gave one for a reason, because he only wants you to reproduce with one person. Do you know what I mean? That's what Sikh is about. That's why Bhai Gurdas Ji is saying, be faithful to your one wife. If Maharaj wanted a man to have 8 wives, he'd give the man 8 reproductive organs. Do you know what I mean? So it's common sense, man. Sikh is really based on common sense, but it's so full of galjog, we can't even see common sense at the times. So a lot of people argue, why does Sri Guru Gobind Singh Ji have 2 wives? If Sikhi says this, if Bhai Gurdas Ji is saying that, and common sense says that you've only got 1 reproductive organ, why did Guru Gobind Singh Ji have 2 wives? Well, Guru Gobind Singh Ji married Mata Sahib Kaur Ji, done an undercarriage, for spiritual reasons. There was no sexual relation between Mata Sahib Kaur and Sri Guru Gobind Singh Ji. The only reason Mata Sahib Kaur Ji got married to Guru Gobind Singh Ji, because only Mata Sahib Kaur deserved to be the mother of the Khalsa. Yeah? And for her to be able to stay with Guru Gobind Singh Ji in someone else's house, he married her for spiritual reasons. So people can't say, give the Guru a bad name. Do you know what I mean? Even though Guru Gobind Singh Ji clearly he had no sexual relations, but people still giving the Guru a bad name, saying he had 2 wives. He had never had no sexual relations with Mata Sahib Kaur Ji. If you look at the history and read it properly, you'll know that Mata Sahib Kaur Ji is the mother of the Khalsa. So if you look at Sikhi, the only time sexual activity is permitted is reproduction when you're married. Any other activity of sexuality is lust. Sikhi don't give you kuli shutti that once you're married, that you can do what you want with each other, that you can indulge in lust. Do you know what I mean? Just because you're married, it doesn't justify indulging in lust. In practicality, yeah, that's very hard to live because lust is so powerful. But in theory, yeah, you're only meant to engage in sexual activity for reproduction, because that's the main purpose of sexual activity, reproduction. Other than that, it's just lust. It's for it's just indulging in worldly pleasures. Do you know what I mean? So it's very hard because we've got crap jivans. If we had good jivans, we wouldn't look for pleasure in sexual activity, because our soul will be getting so much anand from meditation of God. Like if you read the Nand Sahib, the part, you be still reading it and you're wonder how that feels, yeah. The Nand Sahib, when Maharaj talks about, you can hear the spiritual angels, you can hear the sound current of the Nad, you're in nirvana. But if we live the jivans, we'll be feeling that, and that blows any pleasure you can get from sexual activity out of the window. Do you know what I mean? So if you look at this here, if sexual activity is only known for reproduction and creation, so pills, sex pills, after morning pills, condoms, abortions, Sikhi will not permit them, because they're all to disguise up lust. Do you know what I mean? Like you're not engaging in sexual activity to reproduce, that's why you use them so reproduction doesn't happen. Soon as, like, the sperm hits the egg, that's gonna be a life. So when you take the after morning pill or abortion, you've destroyed life. It's not a good moral to destroy life for no reason, you get me? Alright? And it's like, if you're going around sleeping around and you're big enough to sleep around with people, then you should be big enough to take the consequences that what comes with it. If you think you're a bad man and you go around mugging people, be big enough to get smacked. Don't start crying when you get smacked by somebody, you get me? The same thing with this. If you're big enough going around sleeping with people, be a big person, take what comes with it. Do you know what I mean? Because in Barney, it says you reap what you sow. Do you know what I mean? So Maharaj says, even brave and mighty men cannot withstand the powerful and overwhelming army in which the 5 passions have gathered. The 10 organs of sensation attach even renunciates to sensory pleasures. Worshipping the perfect Guru, this awesome force is subdued. I stand before him night and day with my palms pressed together. We all know how hard lust is to defeat. That's real talk, right? Just do as asked in front of Maharaj every time we go to Maharaj to help us, innit? So with the word of the Shabbat, I have killed the 5 thieves. With the word of the Shabbat, you kill the 5 thieves. So with doing your Nityanem, doing Simran, doing Guru Mantar, Mool Mantar, and reading Sage parts and taking Rula and Khan part sahibs and stuff like that, and living Barney, then you will kill the 5 thieves. Right? A lot of people say that masturbation ain't anti-Sikhi. Alright? And why do these bizarre people say that? I'm not sleeping with no one, so I'm not breaking my amrit. Plus, I don't see anything wrong with releasing tension. It's a natural process. Guruji wouldn't want his Sikhs all tensed up. That's why I call them bizarre people, right? Now, I ain't going to answer that through common sense. I'm just going to use Gurbani quotes and use your own common sense, yeah? Cursed is that comfortable wed which lures one into darkness of attachment to sexual desire. Deep. Ang 233 Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. Sexual desire and anger are the wounds of the soul. Drunk with sexual desire and other great sins, you go astray, and you do not distinguish between vice and virtue. Those attuned to the Shabbat are spotless and pure. They renounce sexual desire, anger, selfishness and conceit. The self-willed manmukhs have filthy faces. They do not know the word of the Shabbat. In sexual desire and anger they waste away. Get me? So masturbation's totally anti-Sikhi as well. Do you know what I mean? Just pray to Maharaj, you know, to get rid of our lusts and that, innit? So painful diseases are afflicted to those who are sexually promiscuous. So if you look at, if you go to hospital and you see the clinic, those people who are sexually promiscuous, they've got all sorts of diseases, SDT, some people will die of AIDS and stuff like that. Sexual desires and anger are the wounds of the soul. They keep you away from Maharaj, they attack you, and they weaken your spirit and they weaken your jivan. Here you see a man dying of AIDS. Do you know what I mean? So control what you're doing, or you could be in that position one day as well. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.